Hi, I'm Lisa with Sincerely Ice Blue. I'm going to be making videos about candle making and my journey to becoming a successful business owner. Today what I want to do is talk to you about 8 things I've learned along my journey to starting this business. And let me tell you, there is a lot to learn, especially about being a first-time small business owner. And if you hear any noise in the background, that is my dog Pepper. She is a Shih Tzu. She's 14, blind and deaf. So sometimes she tends to make a lot of noise behind me. But listen, owning a business is hard. It's a lot of work. It is far more work than I thought it would be. You know, you can go on YouTube and watch these videos and you hear all these success stories about people, how they spend $100 or $1,000 and all of a sudden, poof, magically overnight, they're rich and famous, right? That's not the reality for the majority of small business owners. It takes a lot of work. So today's my actual first video on this journey, and hopefully you'll come along for the ride, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ups and downs and everything in between. But for today, let's just start out by sharing 8 of my top things that I have learned so far. Number 1 being, you have to be unique. What's your story? My story is different from your story, different from the next person's next to me's story. That story should help you create your name, your branding, your logo. So the name of my small business is Sincerely Ice Blue. And the background on that is I was a martial artist in my younger years, and the school I went to is absolutely amazing. I am going to drop the link to the school for any of you that are in the Cleveland, Ohio area to check it out. But anyway, this school, they give you a nickname. They give you a nickname as a student. And my nickname was Ice. And we'll talk about that at a later date, but basically it has to do with my style of fighting and sparring and some other things. So that was my nickname. Blue, being the color of my eyes, is extremely blue. And I had a manager at one point when all of this world started going technology, and I had to create emails and such of stringing together Ice Blue. And that's what he used to call me at work all the time, was Ice Blue. That became his nickname for me. So that's where the Ice Blue comes from. But Sincerely has been something that I'm older, and it's just something I've learned as a lesson in my life. I keep glancing at my screen, by the way, because I have taken notes to make sure I'm covering everything. But one of the things for a definition for Sincerely that came up when I was kind of looking at it says, a way to express oneself free of pretense. A sincere person is the one that expresses him or herself without deceitfulness, in a truthful and genuine way that does not pretend. And one of my best friends from high school was helping me kind of come up with something that went with Ice Blue. And Sincerely, you know, we say that a lot, right, when we write letters and things. You sign off on that. Sincerely yours, sincerely, best regards. And it just seemed to flow with who I am and what I want to represent at this time in my life. So you've got to choose your name, choose your theme. And I'm sorry if I get tongue-tied all over myself here. So one of the other things that kind of falls under you being unique in your story is a theme. Do you have a theme? How do you develop your logo? What, again, makes you unique as a person? That's going to flow into your store or into your small business, because it's going to take all of you to become successful. It's consuming, as I've learned on this journey so far. So some of the different things I want to do on my storefront as I'm working to develop it is I'm going to do a theme of a section with my candle scents of the 80s. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because I'm sure we've already come up with some pretty funny names, and they all have a story behind them, but I just have to find the right sense to go with them. So, what's your themes? Is it going to be weddings? Do you have something in your life that has stood out, a cause that you stand for? What's your theme? What are the scents you're going to market? What stands out to you? What are the vessels or the candle jars that stand out to you? Listen, there's a lot of jars out there, and you're going to find that out. But something's going to catch your eye. It's going to stand out for you. Why are you doing this? What's your why? To be successful at anything in this world, you have to have a why. Why are you in business for yourself? Why candles? Why your company name? Even if you were trying to lose weight, let's say that was a big fitness goal of yours, right? Why? What's your why? Because without a solid why, you're not going to stick with this. For me, my why is, again, I'm older, but after all this COVID and all this other stuff, I've been working remotely now for 6 years, 7 years. I don't want to go back to an office. I don't want to sit in somebody's office and a normal 8 to 5 job. I get so much more done. I'm so much happier. I'm so much more confident in myself. And I have such a good balance in my world. I don't want to go back to that. So that's my why. But what's your why? You also have to keep in mind, is this going to be a hobby? It's a hobby? Are you just going to do some craft shows? Are you going to make stuff for family and friends or yourself? Or do you really want this to be a successful business? That goes along with your why. What do you want to sell? Do you just want to sell various candles? Do you want to specialize? Do you want to wholesale? Again, all inclusive. What makes you unique, special, why? And then depending on all of that, you're going to be working on your cost structures. So there's a lot that goes into that. And you're going to not just be able to come up with that overnight, which brings me to number 2. Study, learn, like you're in high school. Take notes. Watch as many videos as you can fit into a day. They want you to learn. That's why the videos are there. That's why I'm creating videos as well. One of the highest forms of flattery in the world is to have somebody replicate you and learn from you. I talked about Taekwondo earlier, and one of the things in the school that I started my training at was you could not advance to an advanced rank. You can't get to black belt level until you become an assistant instructor. And there's a reason for that. You learn when you teach. People learn from you. You learn from your mistakes. You learn so much when you teach. And that kind of is part of making videos. So all of the videos that you can get your hands on, podcasts, blogs, different Facebook groups, everybody on there is there to help you learn and grow. They're not afraid of you stealing their ideas, because you're not going to steal their ideas. You're going to take from their knowledge and develop your own. You're going to make it unique to you, your why. So take as many notes as you can, brainstorm, figure out what you've seen other people do that you could do or do differently. So if you've ever been to a craft show, for instance, there's a lot of people there, and there are a lot of people selling a lot of the same things, wreaths or candles or wooden objects, and a lot of them are the same, but they're different. They have their own flair to them. So let's face it, there's only so many ways to make a pen, right? But the manufacturers of pens have learned how to make them different feels, different ways to fit their hands, different way for the ink to come out of the pen, etc. So figure out your style from looking at other people's styles and put your own flair and your own spin and your own twist onto that. And keep in mind that they're not worried about you. Nobody that's making these videos is worried about you. They want you to be successful. Because if you've ever been a manager in life, one of the things you learn is that you want people to grow and develop and evolve and become better than you. You don't want your team to be as good as you or keep them beneath you. You want them to be better than you. Again, it goes back to being the highest form of flattery. So just remember, if you're going to borrow other people's ideas. Reach out to them, ask them if it's okay. Mention them in your videos and give them the credit where it's due. Don't steal somebody's work. Learn from it, reflect on it, and build your own. Give credit where it's due. And again, take notes all day long. I have an entire book back here full of notes, and I have bought more notepads because I know I'm already filling that up. When I first bought it, I didn't think I would. So, number 3, you have to have a good support system. My support system is my husband. He is my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan, my daughter, some of my friends that are going to be helping me through this. But you're going to need family, friends, co-workers, people that you can bounce ideas off of and brainstorm. Somebody that's going to be honest with you and say, that doesn't work. Or, you know what, that name's not quite catchy, I'm not feeling it. Don't be afraid to ask for them to help you, right? Because again, it goes back to those videos, and it goes back to being an assistant instructor at Taekwondo. You learn by helping others. You bring people up by helping others. People that are strong help each other become successful. They're not jealous. They're not afraid. So build that support system. Number 4 is probably one of the most important. Build your budget. Build your budget and know your budget and stick to it. And oh my gosh, do not overshop. It is so easy. Once you get into this, you're going to start being like, oh, I want that fragrance and that one 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 and so on and so on and so on. There are thousands of fragrances to choose from, but you've got to start somewhere. So start with your favorites. Start small. Buy the 1-ounce samples. It's more cost effective to buy the big ones, but what if you buy it and you don't like it or it doesn't work with the wax you've chosen? Again, this goes back to learning and studying. And we're going to talk about this more as we go, but research. Say that 10 times fast. I think I just did. Shop around. Make lists. I have lots of lists going, and you're going to need to write down, what do you need? What do you actually need to start your candle business or your business? What do you have that you can already use? Can you borrow anything from family, friends, your support system? What's your wish list? Once you get rolling, what do you want to do next? What are your plans? Don't overbuy. I said that already. I'm going to say it again. Do not overbuy. Okay? You can't buy everything all at once. You'll go broke. You do not want to go broke starting your business. Budget. If you're going to start your business from money out of your savings account or borrowing from family or on a credit card, you've got to be able to pay that back before you start shopping for that wish list. Okay, so I cannot tell you enough. Budget. And at the beginning of this video, I talked about people that spend $100 or $1,000 and all of a sudden, poof, they're making $1 million. That happens. Maybe it's going to happen for you. If it does, tag me below because I want to follow you. But for the average business owner, the beginning startups, the above average business owner, you're going to have to work for it. It's not going to just happen that quick. Insurance falls under a budget. You're going to need some insurance. This is something I'm still learning about. I've been recommended Liberty Mutual and a company called Next, so I'm still shopping on that. But if you're going to be a small business, you're going to need insurance. That falls under your budget. There's going to be monthly expenses that are going to fall under that budget. You're going to have to plan for packing and shipping and supplies and sticky notes and pens and notebooks, and the list is endless. So keep good records, figure out your system, but don't jump into this until you have somewhat of a plan. Okay, you need to go back and watch those videos and learn. And maybe that you can do that in 6 weeks, 6 months, a year. There's no time limit on this. This is your plan, your why, your dream, what makes you unique. So that takes me to number 5. Plan to be successful. Plan to be successful. Write that down right now. Get out a pen and write that down. Plan to be successful. You're going to know, you have to know your limits. How much time do you have in a day? Do you have a full-time job? Do you have a part-time job? Do you have kids? Do you have activities you have to run to? How much time in a week do you have to dedicate to yourself and to your business? And notice I said yourself first because you have to come first. Because if you go on empty, this business is going on empty. You're gonna have to plan marketing, business designs, fragrances, scents, what you're gonna use, how you're gonna pack it, how to launch. You're gonna have launch checklists. Is there a date? How are you gonna launch? Where are you gonna launch? How are you gonna market? Are you gonna go to pop-up events? Do you want to wholesale? There is so much to learn. So again, back to number 2, study and learn. Watch the videos. Plan for success with to-do lists. I already talked to you a little bit about that, but what days do you want to pack? What days do you want to ship? What days do you want to pour candles? What days do you want to market? What days do you want to go out and meet with people? What days do you want to do pop-ups? What days do you want to create videos? For me, I'm going to be creating videos on Wednesdays. And you'll probably laugh, but Wednesdays is the day 2 of the small ones go to doggy daycare. I have 4 Shih Tzus. Yes, 4. They're my P-dogs. Pepper, Pumpkin, Paisley, and Praline. Say that 10 times fast. The 2 small ones, Paisley is 2, Praline is 6 months. So they go to doggy day camp to start learning how to socialize, because believe it or not, through all these pandemic situations, even dogs are not great at socializing. So I get them out of the house. I have to film where they're not here. Otherwise there would be bark-offs and dogs, and it's just chaos. So you have to think about that stuff. What time of day do your kids come home? Are your dogs around? Can you take your dogs somewhere? Is your husband around? You gotta make dinner. Your girlfriend, your wife, your spouse. So much to do. Emails. How are you going to answer your emails? Are you going to have a system? Are you going to have a separate email, a business email? So plan for success. Plan for success. Number 6, marketing. No, you cannot forget to market. I mentioned earlier, everybody's doing something, right? Everything's already out there. So is the market saturated? That was one of my biggest questions, and I watched a lot of videos of people talking about that. The answer is no. So I talked about pens earlier. So think about exercise equipment. I have a Peloton or 2. I have 2 Pelotons. I love them. But do you know how many different workout things you can do at home? There's millions of them. Hundreds of them, different things you can do, from just basic workout equipment to subscriptions to just anything. And I'm going to put the link to Peloton in here, by the way, too, since I mentioned them. So remember, I talked about giving credit. But what's their niche, right? So what's yours going to be? The market's not saturated because nobody's going to do this exactly like you in the same way, with the same energy or the same flair. Nobody's going to do it with your uniqueness. So never let yourself get intimidated by all of the candles or all of whatever product you're marketing out there is. Look around. Look around you for ideas. Oh, and by the way, in regards to Peloton, if you drop your name below, I'll tell you my leaderboard name if you want to know it. If you have one, we can hook up. What platforms are you going to market on? Again, so many. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. How are you going to build your website? Which platform are you going to build that on? Are you going to find a free one, or are you going to do a for pay? What's important to you? How is it going to work out for you? So what's your work-life balance? You need that work-life balance. How are you going to market to all these different things and keep that work-life balance? Go back to your why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it so you can retire, so you don't have to work as a part-time job to supplement? All of that's going to come into play in how you market. Are you going to focus on something specific? Do you want to just be a wedding planner? Do you want to just specifically make candles for weddings or baby showers or events, or luxury candles or sympathy candles, or wholesale your candles? So much to do. Start watching those videos, because I can't even get into all that, but plan to be successful. Marketing is part of that. Organize, organize, organize. Number 7, your organization. Create a workspace. This is my office. You can't see all of it at the moment, but this desk back here, I got from Costco. It actually raises and lowers. If I can find the link, I'll stick that in there for you too. It's a fabulous thing because I sit too much and my watch reminds me to stand. So sometimes I need to stand and work, but this is my workspace. This is where I work my daytime, part-time job in the mornings, and then I create and do everything from my personal finances to studying and watching all the videos for my candle business. I'll be making my candles and such in the kitchen. So we'll get to that another day, but create your space. Be organized. Organize your space. Don't make it a mess. It will just frustrate you. Don't be OCD, because I'm very OCD sometimes. Just organize it. Record keep. You're going to need to pay taxes. You're going to need to understand all that. All of your receipts, keep them organized. Find them. Do what works for you. If you're going to use a program, if you're going to use Excel, if you're going to use pad and paper, right? So this goes back to budgeting. What can you afford today? What works for you today? That can evolve and change. You're not stuck on anything. I like to say KISS, right? We all know what that stands for. I changed it to be me. Keep it sincerely simple. Keep it sincerely simple. Keep yourself sincere. Keep it simple. If you don't, you're going to get overwhelmed. And trust me, I have had those moments. That takes me to number 8. That is the most important lesson. Don't give up. Don't be hard on yourself. This is not going to be all roses and unicorns and rainbows. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have to correct those mistakes sometimes with customers. You're going to have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes. You don't know what you don't know. Some of what you do know, you might have to unlearn and do it differently. But you have to be humble. You have to be willing to make mistakes and never give up on yourself. And listen, I've only been doing this a couple months now with studying and training and learning and testing and testing the different fragrances and scents and jars and everything that goes into this. And I've already sat here and said, I'm done. I cannot do this. How am I going to do this? These people I'm watching have all these followers and all of this. Is anybody going to follow me? Is anybody going to care? Is, doubt creeps in. I have to push it out. You're going to have to do the same thing. Be humble. Be sincere. I've been married 32 years, and you're going to actually meet my husband in the next video. We are going to be doing a smell test on the new fragrances we got, so they're actually still packaged. I wanted to unbox them, but I didn't even do that. I opened the package and left them sealed up because that would be cheating. But one of the things people ask me is, especially newlyweds or younger people, how the heck have you stayed married for 32 years? And listen, my biggest form of advice is, it's not easy. You're going to wake up in the morning. You didn't know you were getting marriage advice, did you? You're going to wake up in the morning some days and be like, why am I with you? I hate you. All those little things that you thought were cute when you were dating that they do, one morning they're going to annoy you. Whether you're married or in a long-term relationship or whatever your relationship looks like, you're going to hit that spot sometimes. And what it means to be in a relationship is to work through that. Don't give up, because everything has hard spots. You've got to push through it. So that's where that relates back to this. Don't give up. It's going to be hard. Don't compare somebody else's journey with your own. Don't compare where they are on year 5, where you are on month 6. That's not a fair comparison. You don't know their life. You don't know their whole story. You might know pieces of their story, but you don't know what happens in their life to get them where they are. You don't know their why. You don't know their everything. Don't compare yourself to anybody. We all have different paths. We're all unique. So again, back to number 1, what's your why? What makes you unique? So with that, I'm going to kind of wrap up. So just remember, all of these different things, there's so much more. notes. Take notes. If you didn't take notes on me today, go back, take some notes, because I'm telling you, these 8 things are going to be game changers in how you plan your small business. So also, these principles can be used in many different areas of your life. Like I said, you didn't know you were getting some marriage advice here. So listen, we're all going to be learning together. Be the person who applauds everybody else's success. Be the person who steps up and isn't afraid to get out there and support each other. Lift them up. Leave good comments on people's videos. Don't go back and say something nasty. Go back and say something good. What did you like about their video? If you watch their whole video, there is something in there you liked. Something caught your attention, a word, a phrase, anything. We all love the feedback. So with that in mind, this was my first video. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'm excited to share this journey with you as I develop my business, and there is so much more to come. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up on the bottom here. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And listen, a new thing that I also learned, talk about learning, hit that little bell down there so that it notifies you when I post new videos. My goal is to post either on Mondays and Wednesdays or Thursdays and Tuesdays. Depends on when the husband has time to help me with the editing, because I'm still learning all that too. So I just know there's going to be a lot of stuff you don't want to miss out on. And what else do I want to put on here? Oh, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Sincerely Ice Blue, and TikTok. I just created my TikTok page, so bear with me on that. I'll also have some websites and different stuff coming as we get closer to launch. I still have a lot to do. So until next time, stay sincerely you.